Hi again. I just wanted to do a quick design of a sort of like a corner unit that would go above a desk in the corner of a room. So I'm just going to start off by saying I've got a couple of components here which I have got off of the 3D warehouse. Thank you very much, SketchUp, and I'm going to be using these to make my sort of corner unit sort of multifunctional, I suppose. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just actually draw the room that this is going to go into. So, in actual fact, I'm just going to draw a sort of a square space. So I'm going to go 1000. We'll just do 1000 by 1000. So I'm typing in 1000, 1000 before I've clicked away. And this is kind of gives me a good example of, sort of what sort of space I want to be drawing in. Because I'm going to make this a sort of a shelf unit which goes on the wall. I'm going to try and draw that up. Now I think I'll do that 3000, 3000, nice high 3000 high, and it's going to be 1000 on the side. Great, nice tall ceiling. And I'm just going to use the shift button all the time when I'm using the roller to okay, we need to draw this out. 100 or 1000 I should say, comma 3000. Great. So that's the corner of our room. Actually looks more like the corner of an art gallery because it is quite tall. And let's just draw a desk in as well in the corner. So like what I was saying before is that you just hold the shift button down when you're using the roller. It's just so much easier. So I'm gonna put this height at around 600. Don't know if that's the best height, but I'm just going to use that. And there's our endpoint. And I'm just going to draw out a table which is, we'll just draw out a line which is, let's say 800. That will fit within my 1 meter square. And I'm going to just draw on top of that a rectangle which is 50, 800. Okay, oh no, that's the wrong way around. If I go to this, I'll use that line there just as a guideline really. So I'm going to do this, yeah, 800, 50. Okay, and what I'm going to do is use the push-pull to bring this out. So I'm going to pretend that this is, I'm going to bring that out, I'll bring that out 500, it's half a meter. Okay, I'm going to pretend that's my desk. You might want to, for example, put some, if I go straight down to the bottom here, great, I could put some legs on it as well. What I'll do is I'll just put a side on it and I'll push pull that out as well. This could be some drawers maybe. I need to also just close this off here because otherwise it will just be an open frame. So that could be some drawers, for example. Let's just make that slightly more realistic by putting in some divisions, just by using the midpoints. And there's my kind of my corner of my art gallery sort of studio where I'm going to be doing a little bit of work. I've just got this small area here to do some work. I'm going to just put in a monitor here, which I'm going to say is 300, and I'm just going to draw straight up 400 and across. I'm going to do the same thing here, and you notice I'm just using the inferences of the axis. So the line goes blue is because I'm going straight up. The line goes red because I'm going straight across, what have you. So that's probably how much space I'd need for a screen of some kind. I'm just going to maybe draw that in a little bit better. Do this. Do a bit of that. And just without these bits here. Okay, good. And that becomes more, it looks more a bit more like a monitor now. Let's pull it out a little bit. Okay, so that's your computer monitor, let's say. Maybe pull it down a bit. That doesn't look so realistic. Yeah, it looks a bit better. Alright, so yeah, I want to put something into this corner here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to be drawing out, first of all, this separately, and then I'm going to place it into the actual site where I want to put it. So I'm going to make this 400 by 400. Now I know this is big enough for any sort of paperwork, anything like that. Now what I'm going to do with it is I'm just going to make it slightly semicircular. What I can do is I could make a whole circle going around in this. Let's see if I can actually do this here. This is a little bit of a cheat here. And I'm going to call that 100. And I'm just going to rub away the bits I don't want anymore. And I'm going to just pull this up a little bit. 25 millimeters is fine. I'm going to make this a component. Okay. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to draw a square, or I'm going to draw a sort of like a connecting feature on it. So what I'm going to do next is, I could measure this out, I'm not going to, I'm just going to kind of go by eye, and I'm going to put a little strut here. I'm going to pretend that's like a metal strut, and I'm going to pull this up. I think I'll pull this up and just use the shift button on the roller again. I'll pull this up 600. Okay, now this looks a little bit like those corner shelves that you have in showers, but you know, sort of like for the purposes of this corner, I think aesthetically it's quite kind of helpful. Now the reason that I drew this first at the base, and the reason then I drew this pole on top of that, is that I actually want to copy this, and I'm going to use those axes again, and I'm going to use control and move, and it's going to, let's just undo that, I don't want to move it around. Should hopefully, yep, if I go straight up along that blue line, and I'm going to go straight up 300 to the halfway point, and then I'm going to do that again. And you see my line is blue. If it's not blue, it will go off somewhere else, which I don't want it to do. Now we can also, if you want to put in more support struts, we can just also use the control and move again, and just move this out. I could do this more exactly with using sort of like some construction lines that I could delete afterwards, but I'm just going to use it like this for now. Oh, I don't want to do that one. I need to select the right one first always. I always forget that. And I'm just going to move this out as well. At the moment this is kind of a pretty basic shelf. I'm going to add some materials to make it a bit more interesting. Let's have a look. Oh no, actually I've got some pre-selected materials here already, but actually none of them are suitable. So I'm going to go metal. So that's going to be metal, and I think I'll make the other thing kind of nice with some sort of a wood texture. Let's have a look. This is a nice one, the grey one. Yeah, it's nice. Okay, great. That's pretty much done, but it is just at the moment kind of a bit of a boring shelf. We need to make this a bit more maybe multifunctional. So what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to turn this into a component, and I'm going to put it into the place, and then I'm going to kind of start to mess around with it and design it, make it a little bit more designery. Okay, so let's just use the move tool and go corner. What I think I'll do is I'll grab it right at the corner here and bring it right to the corner there, and I can really see. The great thing about this is, you know, I can really see how that will fit into the space because I've drawn that little room. Now to make this more of a multifunctional sort of storage unit, what I would like to do is put a light on it. The light and the phone I've got from the 3D warehouse. I've made sure to, in my search criteria in the 3D warehouse, to go for things which are less than 1 megabyte. So let's just say I'm searching for a light. Okay, I'll search. 3D Warehouse is absolutely brilliant. I'm going for models, and here you can see the properties. I will always bring it down to 1 megabyte, because basically that, some of these designs can be quite large and complex, and they can really slow down the speed of the modeling, and it can kind of end up really putting additional pressure on your Wi-Fi and also on your processor. So I just try and go for small models. If you were using this for a project, you do need to sort of give credit to the people that you are, getting the models from. You can't just say, well, this is all my design, because it's not, if you've actually used somebody else's model. So this is really, I'm using this for purposes of demonstration, but also, you do need to give credit where credit is due to people who've gone off and actually done some really, look at that work is just fantastic actually on this. And I'm just going to place this roughly center, but what I'm going to try and do, if I can, is rotate it around. There we go. So it's facing the desk. So there you go, you've got like already, this could be an inbuilt light to the base of the object. It could be, sorry, I just need to get in there properly to move this into the right place. Moving that along the face, the bottom face of that. Yeah, that could be actually inbuilt to the bottom, but I'm just sort of like saying that it's going to be screwed in. And lastly, to make this a bit more multifunctional, I will need to kind of consider where I'm going to put it, but put a plug, for example, but you could have a phone charger inbuilt to this as well. And I'm also going to rotate that using the rotate tool. Just go along the base of it. When it goes blue, I know I'm on the right sort of track. I think I'll rotate it from that angle. Now that could be kind of built in to my shelving unit as well. I'd also need to think about, if I was going to kind of put components on this, if I was thinking about standard components, I'd also need to think about how this is fixed to the wall, for example. So let's have a look here. This could be a little L bracket here, and you'd need to have one on both sides. You need to have one on this side as well. I'm just drawing these freehand without measuring them. And I'd just pull this out a little bit, and then maybe what I'd do is I would just draw a line here. I'll probably actually have it a little bit further in. So undo that one and just draw it a little bit further in, so it doesn't, so the actual bottom part of the bracket doesn't go over the edge, the curved edge. I'm just going to pull this out as well. So that's like an L bracket, little elbow bracket you put in there. And of course that would have that would be screwed in with fixing, like a screw of some kind. So I'm going to just pretend that's there. You can maybe use nuts and bolts on this as well if you wanted to. It's a different type of fixing. But I'm just going to say it's put in with a Phillips screw to both. And you'd have those brackets all along. You'd have that one at the top and one at the bottom. You can just like select this whole bracket now, and you can make that into a component. Okay. And you could color it as well, metal, but I'm not going to. But you can like literally just drag that down again using the move. Now what would look really good is if you have some sort of like an integrated feature. I'll just try and remember to use the control button as I do this. And yeah, so and then you can just shift it down again using control and move, and keep it on that blue line, and it will tell you when it's on the face of the component as well. So there you go. I mean, what would be really good is if I kind of created like maybe sort of spaces and shelving and little bits and pieces for like separate different items, like maybe sort of like vacuum formed and attached sort of a desk tidy thing for pencils, rubbers, rubber bands, maybe one shelf just for papers. I could put a drawer into this maybe as well. But there you go. that is how you could draw a multifunctional sort of shelving storage unit in the corner of a sort of like a virtual room. And I've got the desk and I've got objects there. I'll just put some measurements on there again to help you if you're doing this sort of thing. Well, that's not the one I wanted. I wanted this, and I'll just undo those. Those are references. I don't want those. So that's 800, 650. That's a bit high. I mean, most ceilings will be something like 2 meters 40 or something. Okay, so I hope that's been of some help to you if you're doing something similar to this, or if you just want to have some fun, and thanks for watching.